Good morning and a very hearty welcome to our Theodicy class. And in the last class we have already had a kind of discussion about consciousness, and then consciousness and particularly religious consciousness. What is consciousness? What is conscience? And what is conscious? So conscience, conscious, self-consciousness. So these are different categories that we have seen already. Conscience is that faculty with the help of which you decide something to be right or wrong. And then conscious means becoming aware of. And self-consciousness means becoming aware of one's own as sensibility and all that is. So from that we entered into, moral consciousness, clear? Moral consciousness has its immediate data. What is moral consciousness and all? Then we moved on to religious consciousness. Follow? Religious consciousness. And we also spoke something about what is the content of religious consciousness. And then irrespective of focusing on any religion, we said, well, the content of religious consciousness is the sacred, the holy. Yes, this is the content with no reference to any particular religion. Well, if you are going to dig up, then we will have to go to all the religions. And all the religions have their root in India. And some of the religions, the birthplace is India. Therefore, what we are trying to say is that what is at the center of every religion? And finally we said the sacred, the holy. That is what we dealt with in the last class. And then we said, well, the sacred can be further expanded or extended to places, thus sacred places, to persons, sacred persons, then to time called sacred time, place, persons, time and all. Yes, that is you find in every religion, and so there we have stopped. And so we go further, and then we find in Hindu religion, in all other religions, and in Christianity, and in all other religions you have. In other words, the content of religious consciousness is the sacred. Now, what is the content of moral consciousness? Yes, good, and its opposite, bad, or right and wrong. So when we come to the next semester, we will be dealing with moral consciousness, ethics in details. At that time we will stipulate the different aspects of the content of religious consciousness. But then here it is the content of religious consciousness is the sacred and the holy, and thus that is extended further to the places, persons, time, and sacred things also. Follow? Yes, two things. Not everything, but then sacred things. Yes, prasadam, for example. Yes, something that is sacred. Not that simply you visit, you do the necessary preparation and you go to visit the temple or to the mountains and all that is so many factors. But then, to things also. No, places, persons, time, things and all. That is what we have stopped. From the terminology, it is clear that the sacred is explained in contrast to the profane. by giving it a transcendental significance. So in other words, a transcendental significance is given, and thus, as we said, this significance is extended to places, holy places, time, sacred time, persons, holy persons, actions, again, sacred actions or holy actions or whatever you call it. Okay, actions, sacred rituals. This we have, you find in the previous video, you will find it. I just only giving a kind of connection to. And we say the content of the religious consciousness as the sacred or the numinous is expressed and extended in man's religious consciousness in place, time, persons and action. Now, the whole thing can be, the sacred or the holy can be defined. That also we have done it, clear? According to Rudolf Otto, a German thinker, Rudolf Otto, he defines the sacred as, okay, as numinous is N-U M-I-N-O-U-S, numinous means the center, the sacred, the holy. Numinous is mysterium. We have written last time. You go into the previous video. Mysterium, M-Y-S-T-E-R-I-U-M, mysterium, tremendum et fascinans. Tremendum, T-R-E-M-E-N-D-U-M, tremendum et fascinans, F-A-S-C, mysterium numinous is mysterium tremendum et fascinans. Okay, means tremendous, mystery is tremendous and fascinating. What does it mean? Yes, you are attracted to it because of your attachment or fascination to it. At the same time, well, the holy, the numinous or the sacred is also repulsing. In other words, you are drawn into it, at the same time you have the fear of going into it. So, this definition is to be studied by heart. So, Rudolf Otto as numinous is mysterium. Mysterium, it means mystery. Tremendum, tremendous. Et fascinans, F-A-S-C-I-N-A-N-S, fascinans. Okay, mysterium, tremendum, et fascinans. Study by heart this definition. Also the person called Rudolf Otto, a German. Clear? Numinous or mysterium. Numinous is mysterium, tremendum et fascinans. So that is to be remembered, don't forget. So, now we are going to analyze it. Up to now, up to here we had already dictated and presented in the previous class. Okay. Now, we are going to analyze mystery, tremendum et fascinans. So that is the thing. The word tremendum is derived from tremon. The word tremendum is derived from tremon. Yes, the word tremendum is derived from tremon, which means fear. Yes, you have the fear because it is fascinating. Tremendum. Just one example. Yes, you find in the New Old Testament. Yes, Moses saw the fire. He was so much fascinated, attracted to it, but then he had the fear of going. So that is what mysterium, tremendum is a mystery, tremendous and fascinating. It's a kind of contradiction. Yes, it's tremendous, it's fascinating at the same time. Yes, you have the fear, tremon, fear is there, at the same time fascinating. We will come to that again. So, tremendum, derived from tremon, which means fear. But here, in the context of religious experience, it is understood as an experience of awfulness. That is the thing. It's a tremendum. Also, is also, with your five senses, you are not able to comprehend it. You are not able to understand it, or you are not able to fathom it completely. It creeps your senses. That's the point. Therefore, we call it tremendum. It's not simply a fear. Students naturally have the fear of the teachers or professors, parents. But then, it's not that kind of a fear we are talking about. The experience is overwhelming. The experience cannot be measured, cannot be grasped fully. Therefore, you feel it as overpowering. That is the point. So, look at, it's to be understood as an experience of awfulness. A-W-F-U-L-N-E-S, awfulness. When we analyze this experience, we arrive at three elements present in these experiences. It's not simply an ordinary experience. It is an experience that is overwhelming, surpassing, transcending your five senses. Therefore, it's not an ordinary experience. So, it has three wonderful elements present in it. First is the experience of dread arising from helplessness. Yes, you are not able to have a complete grip over it. Therefore, yes, an awfulness. Okay, helplessness. The second element is an experience of overpoweringness. In other words, there is no overpoweringness in this file. You call it a file. You see it, but it's not made of plastic. And you are able to say all aspects of it. But then, in this kind of experience, the tremendum denotes something more. It is awful. You are not able to describe it completely. That's the difference. So, there is the awfulness, there is a helplessness, and finally, this experience of numinous is resulting in urgency. What do you mean by urgency? The man who has this religious experience goes through another experience of force, gripping him, which is urgent, active and compelling. In other words, a person who goes through this experience cannot simply sit quiet. You are drawn into it. You have to move yourself. You need to respond to it. In other words, you cannot be in an inertia, or you cannot be in a nirguna state. So, the word tremendum, yes, word is coming from tremon, fear. This is not an ordinary fear. Don't go with simply fear and write all what comes into your mind regarding fear. Don't write. Yes, a fear, there is an overpoweringness, overwhelmingness, awfulness, because your senses are inadequate to experience it and explain it. That's the point. Okay. All right. So, finally, this experience of numinous is resulting in urgency. The man who has this religious experience goes through another experience of a force gripping him, which is urgent, active and compelling. All right. Now, tremendum. By tremendum et fascinans, we are going to combine both. By tremendum et fascinans, Rudolf Otto wants to express the underlying significance of all religious experiences. Now, from each one, from his own or her own religion, can understand it. Yes, you have been called, you are compelled to respond, and you set your journey. It's not an ordinary experience. So, It's an experience of the holy, experience of the, yes, mystery. Therefore, you are moved into that. You are compelled to respond to it. Okay. Those two words means tremendum et fascinans. Those two words in their togetherness refer to an experience of the totally or wholly other. Totally or wholly, W-H-O-L-L-Y, other. What does it mean? Yeah, this experience is totally different from. This is wholly, completely a different experience. Not simply the experience of eating hot vada or yellow rice or something like that. Whatever is your favorite item, when you eat, you get a kind of particular experience and you long for it. But then, more than that, the holy, the content of the holy is a totally wholly other experience compared to other experiences that we have in life. So, don't forget it. It's something very, very important to understand, yes, our topic under discussion. So, the various feelings such as awe, reverence, etc. is again indicating the pre-rational character of these experiences of man. Yes, while studying Kant in your 4th semester, teleological judgment he spoke about. Yes, there are two types of, one about holy and the beautiful. And just only recalling your mind to that. Yes, beautiful. Yes, you go to the top of our shrine, you look around, you find the nature is arranged in such a way that you don't make any other statement other than, what a wonderful, what a beautiful scenery. Follow? Yes, the beauty. And the sublime next. Yes. The sublime is overpowering your senses. Therefore, you don't have words to express. And that is the holy. Therefore, well, when we come to this, the holy, yes, which is tremendum et fascinans, what we mean is that this is not simply any ordinary experience, but then this is the completely holy, not H-O-L-L-Y, W-H-O-L-L-Y, wholly, completely other type of an experience which is unique in its own way, which surpasses the senses. Okay. Fascinans would mean something that is uniquely attractive and fascinating. So, fascinans means fascinating, attracting. This mystery experience or the numinous experience is so attractive that the man of this experience enjoys a sort of comfort, a sort of mercy, a sort of joy, etc. The experience of tremendum indicates an experience of distance and the experience of transcendent God. So, in other words, you feel a kind of fascination, attraction to it. At the same time, it is overpowering, overwhelming, etc. So, there is a kind of attraction, yes, repulsion. In other words, you are attracted to it. You are attracted to it. At the same time, you have the fear of going to it. You have the difficulty of facing it. Or in other words, all what is within you is simply drawn into it. Drawn into it. At the same time, you feel that you are coming away. Why? Yes, that is, when you go into each religion, you will understand. Because of your sinfulness, you are unworthy to go into it. At the same time, the holiness of it is attracting you. So that is what is called mysterium. Yes, the holy, the sacred is mysterium, is a mystery. Mysterium tremendum et fascinans. Fearful, at the same time attracting. Okay. Now, this mystery experience or the numinous experience is so attractive that the man of this experience enjoys a comfort, sort of comfort, mercy, joy, etc. The experience of tremendum indicates an experience of distance, an experience of transcendent God. Follow. So, when we come to the fascinance dimension, we say these feelings indicate the nearness of God. In other words, you feel that you are near to God. You find, your soul finds perfect satisfaction in that. So this is something that we need to by heart it or to go through nicely. So, in other words, well, we said it's a phenomenological approach to God. Introductory part we said beautifully, and second one was religious consciousness. Therefore, now we go into levels of experience, namely 5, 2, 2. Content of religious consciousness is over, and now 5, 2, 2 means levels of experience. Levels of experience of the divine, levels of experience of the sacred, levels of experience of the numinous or, yes, the center of it. Clear? So that's what we are going to see now. Well, it is something very interesting, very notable. Clear? This religious experience is in some way an evolving one, which we indicate 3 such levels of experience. Clear? So in other words, the experience of the holy, experience of the sacred is an evolving one. Yes, that is the first point to be noted. Yes, levels of this experience is something that is evolving. Not that once and for all the same. Once you end up for every time the same experience. No, it's an evolving one. Yes, evolving one in 3 levels. First of all, level of experience is an evolving one. First of all, common level. Common level. We'll explain it. Second one is ascetic stage. Ascetical stage. Yes. Third one is mystical stage. Yeah. Quite common level at the base. We slowly grow from that to the ascetic stage. You do penance and practices and all that is. The third one is the mystical stage. In Indian philosophy, you get a lot of this kind of explanation. Follow? So, common level. Yes, you have been taught, trained and all that. You proceed for slowly and then to the ascetical stage where, yes, sacred grips the person and plays primary role. And then the third one is mystical, where in the process of interiorization climates culminates and the sense of the sacred completely dominates the individual, and the religious experience becomes a felt consciousness, giving him new meaning and direction in life. In other words, we begin to slowly experience, and that experience slowly move into a higher level, and third stage is that experience grips us, and finally we are being moved by that. Students of philosophy at this stage may not be able to completely comprehend it. Yeah, it's an experience. This is evolving, we said. Clear? So that is what I'm going to explain now. This religious experience is in some way an evolving one, and we indicate three such levels. First of all, common level, which belongs to the ordinary religious minded people. Yes, you practice certain lifestyle, you have a system, you slowly follow, but you don't completely, you are being gripped by it. That's the point. So that is called a common level. Children are taught slowly to say the prayers, to go to the church, to the temples, and all that. Slowly they are initiated. That is what is called the common level or the ordinary. Ordinary. This ordinary, don't simply misunderstand with ordinary our experience of, yes, eating something, drinking something, going to a place and all. No, no. This is something connected with the sacred. This is something connected with the divine. Well, going to the church, to the temple is not the same as going to the vegetable garden or flower garden. Follow? There is a difference. Okay. Whatever it is. Okay, we follow a particular religious tradition. That's the thing. We have been introduced into a particular religious tradition. That is in the common level. That is the beginning of it. And slowly you go upward. At this level, more than personal conviction, what we have is an unconscious acceptance due to certain social forces. That's the thing. So, certain practices you follow. You may not be completely convinced of it. That is what is called levels, common level, ordinary level. You belong to a particular religious practice. Clear? Here, religious experience is secondary, means an experience. Yes, it's something like people going to the church. Why? It is Sunday worship. You are supposed to go. You have to make confession. Why? Yes, confession laws are laid. And when you do something, repair it. Be truthful. And all that is. Going to the temple to please the deity. Going to the temple for worship. And all that is. For there is a common level and ordinary level. You belong to a particular. Okay. Second is the ascetical stage, where the sense of the sacred takes a grip of the person and plays a primary role. Slowly you begin to grow, you begin to become aware, you begin to become conscious that you are being gripped by something else. Yes. Prayer experience. Not simply going to the church for worship, but rather you are drawn into it. So you are slowly growing. That is the second stage. Slowly, not because your parents told you to go, you go, but you are slowly becoming aware of it. Yes, that is the second stage, namely ascetical. You begin to practice certain things. Clear? And then the individual follows certain ascetical practices to purify himself or herself. In the beginning, probably parents tell us to go, and slowly you become conscious of it. That's why I said there are stages, growth is there. You become aware that you have not gone to the church, you have not gone for the confession, and you have not done charity. Slowly it becomes a kind of promptings from within. That's the point. Okay. And then you enter into a kind of practices of purifying oneself. Here we say that the sacred exerts, E-X-E-R-T-X, exerts a certain force and is being fascinated by him. Follow? And more interiorized. The other one is something called, ordinary one is something called an external practices. And slowly, in the second stage, certain practices are interiorized. You do these things not because your parents told, or the pujari told, or the parish priest told, or someone sacred person told you, but you become aware of it. So that is the second stage, ascetical stage. Finally, the mystical stage. Yes, you grow slowly and become aware, and you are being gripped by the holy or the divine. And yes, you have the best example. You see, in the lady at the well is asked for water, and then the conversation. Finally, Jesus tells her so many things of her own personal life, and she becomes, yes, fascinated by him, and then they go to the village, take him to the village, and he stays with them, and they understand. Finally, they make a statement. What is that? Now we believe not because you said. Yes, in other words, the so-called common level is already transcended by the people. Not because, we believe not because you said, but we believe and we experience him as so. In other words, yes, a stage higher. So many examples can be taken, but we limit ourselves here. So the mystical stage, wherein the process of interiorization culminates, yes, it reaches a kind of highest level of standard, and the sense of the sacred completely dominates the individual, and the religious experience becomes a felt consciousness, giving him new meaning and direction in life. In other words, the person is getting oriented into a way of life. That's what is called levels of the experience of the holy. First of all, the common level, the ordinary level, where you belong to a particular religious tradition and practice certain things. Second one is ascetical stage, where you begin to practice certain things because you are getting convinced of it. Third one is the mystical stage, where, yes, the holy has a grip over you and you are fascinated by that. Clear? And that is the point. And now, well, we say, how do you express what you experienced? Hello? Yes. How do you, yes, how do you express what is experienced? So it is 5, 2, 3 expressions of religious experience. Expressions of religious experience. First one was, former one was experience. How do you experience? And now, how do you express it? What does it mean? Yes, to express means, yes, what you are convinced, what you experience, what you feel it, you express it. In other words, in a tangible form. How do you express it? That is something very important. You express it, and in words and actions and all that is. Therefore, this is also important. Well, you express it in belief. 5, 2, 3, 1, belief. We will explain it later. Then, in cult, yes. 2, 3, 2. Yeah, you believe. You begin to make dogmas out of it. Yes, and then express it in cult. Means certain cultic practices. And then you form a morality out of it. This is something very interesting. So, in other words, the numinous is explained in terms of mysterium tremendous with fascinates. Yes, mystery, tremendous as well as, yes, overpowering as well as attractive. Well, that we go on. Yes, experience it in the common level, ascetical level, and yes, in the third level, the highest form of it. And then we express that religious experience in the form of a belief, in the form of a cult, in the form of a morality. This we will explain in the next class. Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much.